Math 6, Module 5, Lesson 5, the area of polygons through the composition and decomposition. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of break these apart, but we got to figure out their values first. If you look at that first polygon, we have two sides that are missing. So the way you would do the left side is add up these two, because that's going to be the exact same thing. So that's going to be an 8-foot side, and then we're missing this side, and what happens there is you have to take the top and subtract the bottom. Okay, so we say 8 minus 5, and that would be 3. So you're going to have to try and figure out how we can come up with these answers for the side lengths. Okay, so we've got that one done. Now, what are we going to do next? Now that we have all the sides, now we've got to break apart our polygon here and figure out how can we find the area of this. We know how to find the area with triangles. We know how to find the area with polygons, rectangles, and we know how to find them with parallelograms. So what would be the easiest way to do this? I'm going to show you two different ways. Here would be to break it apart into two rectangles. So here we have rectangle, let's call this rectangle A, and this is rectangle B. So if we take rectangle A, we've got a 6 by 5. So we say 6 by 5 equals 30, and then we have a 2 by 8. 2 by 8 equals 16. If we were to add that together, we would get 46 feet squared. Okay? So break it apart into two rectangles. Divide by 2? Not when we're talking about rectangles. Rectangles is just area times, or is area equals length times width. Okay? Now, the other way to do this one is to, let me try and erase this stuff, is now to take the entire, kind of create a huge rectangle here, where we would have a 8 by 8. If we acted like this was another rectangle, or if this was a part of a whole rectangle, a huge rectangle. So we'd say 8 times 8 is 64, but we've got to take out what we have colored in here, what we added. So we take an 8 by 8, we get 64 feet squared. But now we got to subtract this. Well, this is a 6 by 3. So what is 6 by 3? That is 18 feet squared, and that leaves you with 46 feet squared. Different ways to do this, however you like doing it. I honestly don't really like doing the second way where you create this whole thing and then subtract what you created. Some people do. So whatever you like, however you can get the correct answer, I don't care. Okay? So there's your two ways of getting this. Now, number 2, we have a parallelogram. How do we find the area of a parallelogram? Anybody remember? Okay, so area equals base times height. Yeah, that is how you can do that. Okay, So the area equals base times height for this parallelogram. So we have a 12 by 10. So area equals, I'm sorry, not a 12 by 10, an 8 by 10. And so that is 80 miles squared. Now, the other way to do that is to break these into two triangles. Those two triangles are equal to each other, right? So they're the exact same square area. So we could say the area is equal to half the base times the height, since we're talking about triangles. We have a height of 10 and a base of 8. Well, that is 4 times 10, which is 40. But remember, we have two of them. So this is triangle A, this is triangle B. So then we would say times 2, and we get the same answer. Okay. That's more work. I would just do the parallelogram of base times height. But there's two different ways to solve that one as well.